Hi, June. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And I know you've been practicing for decades, and now you're an instructor on how to heal vision. And it's a very new thing for people on that the eyes could self-heal. You know, the optometry industry is just fix people with glasses, and then they, of course, get progressively worse, but it's considered normal. And we're taught that they don't heal, but it doesn't make sense that they shouldn't be able to self-heal. So, June, could you tell me a little bit about how you got started with this, and then what made you decide to become an instructor in the Bates method, and what you've seen in people healing their vision?
Sure, and very nice to be here. Thank you for the invitation to speak about this. I started many years ago, mainly because I had some teachers in a program that I was in while I was going to college who were looking at really different kinds of ways of healing the body. And so they told me about a vision teacher who was in San Francisco. Her name was Anna Kay, and she herself had been in Poland during World War II. And then I think she was also in a concentration camp. She was a lawyer. She'd had very thick glasses. When she came to San Francisco, she was able to connect with a vision improvement teacher. And because she felt so restricted with her glasses. And she also knew she had to do some different kind of work. And she was helped and at that time, people did wear thick glasses if they had a higher prescription. It was just the technology of the time. Anyway, she was able to eventually just be without the need for glasses. And
Wow.
she was so inspired by that she went ahead and became an instructor herself. Um, so that was my first exposure. Uh, During those years, up until really when you could get together with someone online, it had to be in person. So I didn't live right in San Francisco. I moved into first Mill Valley and then to Petaluma and then to the Central Valley. So, but there weren't any teachers in those
Wow.
areas. Also, at that time, it was not easy to find an optometrist who was willing to reduce lenses.
Oh,
So, most of the times when you go to an optometrist, they will give you a prescription for 20/20. But in California, uh, as long as you could see 20/40 with your glasses,
oh,
then then you could drive. There wasn't the restriction. In other words, it was some playroom. So Anna Kay knew of an optometrist in Chinatown, and he was able to help me with the first reduction. So that may sound strange to people because they think, what? Why would you reduce? Well, part of the reason is when you get the glasses, you have to look at the environment in which you're going to meet with the optometrist. And many times the environment is not that relaxing, or people are anxious because they think, what, am I going to get bad news or what's going on? And all of that is going to show up in the eyes. There's strain that the person usually feels. Now, in the Bates method, and Dr. Bates was an ophthalmologist who lived, um, he was born in the later 1800s, and he lived to, I think it was about 1931. Well, he was a teacher in the ophthalmology school in New York, but he started to question things because he didn't feel like he was really helping people. So
right.
the point is that he began to discover things about the eyes that other optometrists didn't share a belief in. And he did feel that the way a person's eyes become somehow disabled was
Right.
through stress.
Oh,
And that stress happens, not everybody shows stress through their eyes uh, over, like not just intermittently, but sustained. So people who have glasses or contacts usually have a habit of sustaining stress through their eyes. And
Wow.
that
I
means,
thought it was eye strain, not just like mind strain, but
oh,
like
it's mind
reading.
strain.
You consider it only mind strain, not like practically that people are doing things that strain their vision, like
Oh,
reading or
it's all combined.
oh,
Uh, and Dr. Bates had said vision is 90% mental. So that's what he
wow.
focused on a lot. But you have physical practices that you do to help. It's like um, it's a system in which you're relating to the eyes about relaxation through the practices and then relaxing the mind as well and relearning in a way. And some people have used that in their book titles, relearning to see, because
I
a
see.
person has developed habits, mental habits, sometimes emotional habits that incline them to hold that stress.
Could
And the
you give an
stress,
example of stuff
mhm.
that people could do that are bad for their eyes?
Oh, okay. I had to
Yeah.
switch because I'm always thinking in terms of doing
Yeah.
something good for the eyes.
Oh, yeah,
So
I'm
something bad, yeah, squinting,
oh,
just looking off in the distance,
oh.
or moving. A vision habit that often people with myopia have is that they hold their head like that from the side. You could see because they're always going out to see rather than allowing what is around them out there to come to them.
What
And
about
so
doing a lot of reading without taking breaks?
uh, it isn't necessarily that the reading is the problem. Without taking breaks, yes, that can mean a sustain, you're sustaining a stress.
Hmm.
But if it's the main thing is while you're reading, are you stressed? Because
Oh.
maybe you're feeling you've got a deadline, or this is coursework you have to do for
Hmm.
school, you want it to be perfect. That those are the
Hmm.
things that come in to bring in the stress.
I
See, and
see.
that's mental and emotional type of.
Interesting. Now, the exercises that help people who are nearsighted, are those the same exercises that help people who are farsighted?
Generally, yes, but there's different emphasis. For instance, a person who is nearsighted has a very comfortable, like, bubble around them. And within that bubble, they see really well, generally, without their glasses.
Right.
But at a distance, so any practices that emphasize, they need practices that help them relate to the distance, get relaxed with the distance, seeing in the distance. Um, and that may seem like, well, that sounds so simple, but a lot of people will think that they have to recognize what's out in the distance or looking at the sky and seeing the clouds. And it's once a person has worn glasses for quite a long time and they have myopia, they become agitated with their blur often. They have to get sort of comfortable with it to be able to remove the glasses and navigate through their world, maybe indoors first, outdoors. It all depends on the person. Some
Hmm.
people who come to see a vision educator will be like, I can't stand my glasses. I want to get rid of them. Other people are like, well, I saw well till I got to college. And I can't understand how, if my eyes could change one way, can't they go the other way again? And so, right in there, like that's like the kernel of truth. Yes, the eyes can change. I also heard an optometrist and maybe an ophthalmologist in a podcast recently who said um, she grew up in China and everyone in her family could see well, really well. She was the
Really?
only one that needed glasses. And she said, this was great to hear from her. She said, so that disproves that, it was genetic.
I
And
see.
that's and mainly more of it has to do with if you're surrounded by people who do wear glasses, it's kind of like that's the norm. And we
Right.
are, especially as children, uh, can be susceptible to that and think that that's the way it should go. I mean, here's really interesting stories of people wanting to wear glasses when they were teenagers because their friends did, or they liked the way the glasses
Right.
looked. And then they get into,
Right.
uh, having to go to the optometrist more and more often. It
What
it
exercises
goes,
could people do that if they're
sure.
nearsighted, let's say?
Yeah. I just want to say it really does go back to some of the original stressors that were going on at the time that then the person goes to an optometrist. So,
Oh, I see.
and the kinds of things I'll demonstrate and I'll invite your listeners to participate in as well, because to get a feel of it, I'm just going to use some of the very simple practices. And one is people tend to, and we live in a world where things are getting smaller and smaller, and especially if you spend a lot of time inside or you're on screens, you're on your phone, that's what's happening to one's attention. And there's a stress that after a while that accumulates from that kind of focus. So one of the ways is an emphasis on movement because the eyes have become more and more still. Now, obviously, they don't get absolutely still. There still is involuntary movement going on,
Mhm.
but we do suggest practices that help first to initiate voluntary movement and then that starts to relax the involuntary system as well. So one I'm just going to demonstrate is, and people who have some familiarity with the Bates method are familiar with hearing maybe about the swing. Well, the swing can take many forms, but the main thing is as you move, and I'll just demonstrate it. The long swing is looking from, it could be to, it's a broad swing. It could be in one direction and then the other. And the feet pivot as you're doing it. The back, the spine is slightly twisting, which is really good as well for the
Do you
body.
want to demonstrate, June?
Yeah,
What does it mean
sure.
this week? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do it, but I think you're only going to see the top half of me, but you'll get the idea. And a person can just follow. And it's done with eyes open and eyes closed. So I'll just talk through it for just a moment. Okay, so right now, my eyes are open, getting relaxed, and the arms can be moving like just hanging down, or you can move them if you want to just give a little bit more flexibility to the body. And it's also a lot about how you're feeling. So I'm watching the room move actually in the opposite direction. I'm not trying to fix on any point. I'm just allowing my eyes to move. My eyes are moving, and therefore my head and body are following. And generally, that is what is your attention goes to where your eyes are looking. And so after a little bit, I close my eyes and I'm having a memory. There's just that sensation in the eyes of what just happened. I just happened to see the room moving. I'm not trying to see all the objects in my memory, but I'm allowing them to move. Open my eyes again. I may blink a little bit. Sometimes people say, I don't see the room moving at first, so we have them put up their thumb, follow the
So you're
thumb.
following your thumb
Yep,
as you're moving?
that's right. I'm looking at it, and then I notice that the movement is very easy to see. I'll make the swing shorter. I'm looking at beyond the corners of the computer screen, and the screen is going opposite to the direction that I'm moving and watching the thumb. So if you ask someone who sees really well, do you see things moving opposite to you? Or like when you're driving in the car, it's a really good opportunity as a driver or even when you're riding
Don't you
to
get dizzy though if things are
aware.
moving and you're trying to see?
Well, that's what myopic people have the tendency to do is get carsick.
Oh.
And it's because they're trying to hold their steering rather than
Oh.
just letting it flow. So really it's
Mm.
about letting life flow and
Hmm.
relearning how to do that,
Interesting.
relearning how to
What's
let your
another
body.
exercise for people who are nearsighted?
For people who are nearsighted, main thing is relaxation. Now, this is something anyone can do, whether they have presbyopia or they have an eye condition, possibly a disease. And this is called palming, which is, and I'm just going to set this up. I'm using a pillow here because it's much easier to prop up a pillow and do it. So this is the pillow. I'm going to rest my elbows on it. I'll try to do it like this. Let me sit so I can demonstrate this to you.
Do you personally do this on a daily basis for maintenance?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of times when
Wow.
I'm lying in bed at night, I'll just, or if I wake up during the night, I'll lie and maybe do a one hand palming or another. It's very healing. I'll do it on my
Really?
ears. It's very relaxing.
Really? For how long do you do palming?
Just as long as kind of my body starts to get uncomfortable, I'll stop.
Wow.
Uh, So palming can be done when a person is doing it, like they're awake and they're sitting up. And you can do it lying down on the back, on your side, like I was saying. Uh, and it's, first of all, you're feeling the heat from your hands. There's a lot of healing energy naturally in our hands, that or comes through the hands. And some people are very aware of that for themselves. Other people may not be. But I even will sometimes just hold my forehead, top of the head. All of these are ways to just bring relaxation and balance back. So with palming, the basic way of doing it is having the elbows propped up, cupping the hands over the eye. You're not smashing against the eye. You don't ever want to put any pressure on the actual eye. So that's they rest on the um, eye bones around the eye. And so you'd sit there. If you want to join me, you can. And then, and any other person, who's listening. And lots of times I first encourage people to just become aware of their body.
Do you overlap your hands or because I've seen palming with each hand cupping one eye?
It depends upon how a person's structured. It
Uh,
may be more comfortable to do it like this. The
hmm.
goal is you're limiting any light leakage in.
I
So
always
close the
wonder
eye.
why doesn't it help just to close the eyes or put on a cotton band around the eyes like a sleep mask kind of thing,
Mhm.
an eye mask.
Well, closing the eyes is sort of like a shortcut method to relaxing the eyes with
Uh,
minimizing. A lot of times with people with myopia, they get overwhelmed. Too many things are going on from their perspective because they're used to having a quieter interior space. So doing the palming is a way of quieting the mind. Closing the eyes is a way of quieting the mind, kind of just getting one's bearings. We don't close our eyes very much in our societies because we're so into the visual. I might miss something kind of thing.
right. Could they listen to
So,
something if someone wants to do this? Could they listen to
yes,
a podcast or music? Could.
podcast or music, only something that makes you feel good. You don't want to listen to news because, the whole point is you're giving yourself a break, a rest period.
Uh-huh. Interesting. So besides palming and swing, long swing or short swing, what about sunning?
Yes, that is just okay. So there's other people often have a different opinion about it, and when you look at sunglass sales, I mean they're just probably out of the roof now and all, but the eyes need light, and that nourishes not only the eyes but also the brain. So sunning is a way of, and the best times, especially if somebody is new to sunning, it's your eyes are going to be closed. You're going to be looking towards the sunlight, and it's better to do it than when you're new to it, early morning when the sun first comes up, or it's like maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, nine. It's not that intense yet. You can use like there's apps for the vitamin D minder as one that comes to mind. So using a vitamin D app to know in your location, what is a good time to be out in the sun would probably give many people a lot more comfort because there's, there's so much encouragement to protect oneself from the sun. But the eyes do need it. And I mean, no one would put sunscreen anyway around very close to their eyes because once it gets in your eyes, it stings. It's not something that's comfortable.
Yeah.
But
I
so
mean,
the best
sunscreen
way,
is toxic and people should
yeah,
be exposed to sunlight. The whole thing is really a scam. The sun is very healing, and
it's
sunglasses make it
great.
that the skin produces less melanin, which makes a person get sunburnt if they're
Yeah,
wearing sunglasses.
right.
But in terms of sunning, is it just being outside and having the eyes exposed to sunlight, or you're closing your eyes and facing the sun? Are you turning your head?
It's
Like I've seen someone close their eyes, turn face like side to side towards the sun. How do you do sunning according to Bates
Okay,
method?
I do it that way, looking at the sun. And like I said, for someone who hasn't done this, it's better, you'll have more confidence and trust of the sunlight if you're doing it like in the early morning. And that's why I mentioned the vitamin D app because usually they go to about 10 and then to maybe 3 or 4, depending upon where you're located.
Mhm.
It's not in that period.
Basically, the
If you're not
morning and the later hours, basically. That's just when
comfortable.
it's safer to be staring at the sun or be outside.
Right, right. If you're
Yeah.
concerned about that. Yeah. So, yes. So looking at you, I pretend you're the sun. Okay. That way you can see what I'm doing. So my eyes are closed and you're moving. The reason you're moving is because you're getting the light to shine in different parts of the eye
Hmm.
and going, sometimes I look right at the sun and do it. Other times, if the sun's really high in the sky, I won't. But the sunlight is coming in this way into onto the eye, the eyeball, the pupil, and it's illuminating in at different angles. I
Right.
personally think that has relevance to it. And you just start out, if a person wants to do it, just start out like maybe 10, 15 seconds. Just do a short
50
thing.
seconds, really. Wow. Do you recommend doing double the amount of time you do sunning as palming? Like, let's say you're doing 10 minutes of sunning, do 20 minutes of palming. Have you heard this concept, or you think it just doesn't matter, whatever
I think
ratio you want to do?
yeah, I think what matters is what's the ratio that works for you.
Hmm.
And the reason at times people will suggest certain how much, sunlight and the darkness that comes with the palming is because the eyes need darkness to again create the purple coloring that's inside that helps us to see at night. So you alternate between sun and palming. I personally,
Hmm.
a lot of times think if I'm sunning and I'm outside, if I'm hiking, I'll use the tree branches as
Oh,
letting the light filter through. Um,
uh-huh.
and then what I'll do is I'll just look towards the shadow areas. If I'm out like on the deck, I'll and I don't feel like palming at the time, I'll just turn around and look in and stand in the shade and look into
Interesting.
the tree with my eyes closed.
Very
So it's
interesting.
just alternating light and dark, but you can actually use the palming as the way to bring the darkness.
Very interesting. So these are like the three most famous Bates things
Right.
to do, right? But my
That's right.
question is, when it comes to people who are farsighted, these are also the same three. Is there something they should do that's more important from these three if they're
Well,
farsighted?
the far-sighted person has to learn to get more comfortable with things being closer and closer to them.
Hmm.
So they would probably, like with the swinging, be very comfortable using more distant type of vistas, and they could set up an eye chart or an object, but
Oh,
gradually start to move it in. If you're standing on your balcony and you're looking out, you then start to put something on the railing and seeing that.
oh.
So they have,
So it's not
therefore,
your hand, it's something else that you're looking at as you're swinging, just in a different position.
that's right.
I see.
It's very personalized. but we're just speaking now about generalities. But these are things people can do on their own, who are your listeners, just to get a feel of it. But
Wow. And
again,
how, yeah.
oh, I was just going to say, but again, with the sunning, uh, just do it in the early light of the day and at the end of the day until you become more comfortable. And you also might do some research on it for yourself, researching vision improvement and how. And there are some great um, YouTube videos that talk about the sun and how important it is for as a part of vision improvement and for the health of the eyes.
How long should people
Mhm.
expect change, like improvements to take?
Well, the few things that I was demonstrating, people should look at instead of thinking they may see print a little clearer after doing it, or they might just feel like, oh, my neck feels a lot more relaxed. Colors might seem a little brighter for a period afterwards. You have to do these
Mm.
practices consistently over time, not necessarily long periods of time, but they could be short bursts during the day. And my goal with people that I work with is that they learn the practices, find the ones that help them.
You're saying after these exercises, people could expect things to be more clear and but it's short-lived. But how long does it take of out of consistent daily exercise for people to have actually real results that they feel comfortable that they're, they could see?
Well, remember, they're changing a vision habit and changing habits because automatically a person will do something because they've been used to doing it. So let's say if it's a sudden noise or they're getting in the car to drive, and so they're going to go back to their old habits. So what my goal is with, and I know other vision instructors as well, is to help a person integrate these practices while they're doing their daily lives. Because you can have set aside time. For example, in the morning, you get up. Some people say, I take the dog out, great time to do the sunning. If there's no, the sun isn't there, it's cloudy, you're still going to be able to know where the sun is,
Right.
and you still can do sunning basically. So then they come home, they might do a little bit of palming while they're heating up tea water. They could do a little swing. I mean, it sounds simple, like really, can
Right.
this really do it? But you have to
You
keep
could
it up.
incorporate
So
it,
you
right.
take the practices and you incorporate and more, and that's why it takes time. It also takes time because people come with different conditions. Everybody who's myopia is certainly not the same. They have different reasons how they became myopic, and they have other layers of things that may have to be worked through, the emotional, the mental, but the practices are like the foundation. And so for persons, suggest to people I work with, if you're feeling stress, just do some of the practices. Do the one practice that gives you the most comfort and gives you the best vision. So
Mm.
it also will improve memory because memory is a vital a part of seeing. If you see something that you've never seen before, you can ask a person who has excellent vision. They might go, I don't know what that is. If you ask someone who's has myopia, they'll squint, they'll try to figure it out. But then after a little bit, the person who sees really well goes, oh, you know what that is? They're very casual, they're very relaxed about it because they've never had the challenge of not seeing well for a sustained period of time.
Very
So
interesting.
the expectations are really customized, and to help a person, if the person has not worn glasses for very long, it can change very rapidly. A
Oh,
person with uh, near farsightedness can actually change pretty quickly because they have a simpler process of helping the eyes to start working together as a team.
so you're saying
But
far-sighted help is faster than nearsighted help?
tends to be, yeah.
And if people don't wear glasses and they want to prevent, let's say, later in life getting reading glasses, what
Yes.
exercises are preventative?
Okay. There are tools for that. Also, there's there's charts you can use where okay, one way of doing it, I'm just thinking what's really available. If I go on, do a search for stereo pairs, stereograms, and you'll find websites and you'll find Instagram sites, and you practice convergence. Convergence is really the main thing of why people can read well. A person who's myopic, not presbyopic, not near farsighted, they have a tendency to read really well, really good fine, they're good at fine print, and they love to converge. They love the convergence games. Um, if I suggest too to people, get things that first of all that you like, what are sports that you might like to do, activities outside, be outside more, and then convergence is the big thing. That's when the eyes slightly cross in if you look at someone when they're doing convergence. There's puzzles, there's the magic eye books. There's obviously things that would be discussed in a vision session, but the magic eye books are very available, and that's you can see the image in the picture by converging the eyes. And then there's a concept of divergence, which is what people who are farsighted do, and that is they're able to look out in the distance and have their eyes team the image. Referring to the magic eye books, where you have the opportunity to uh, do convergence, which is a slight crossing of the eyes, and then you can also do divergence. And divergence is the way that the eyes see off in the distance. And that is what a farsighted person is really good at, but the nearsighted person is better at. So they each have to learn the opposite, but the magic eye books give you the opportunity to do that,
Oh,
especially the one that Dr. Mark
Grossman?
Grossman. Yes,
Yeah, I have his book. And you
yes,
actually recommend that book. Uh-huh. And
yes.
you're saying palming, sunning, swing is not preventative for people who want to avoid reading glasses?
Oh, it is because they still have to relax.
Oh,
And the thing is, what happens is people get in the habit of wearing the glasses beyond, especially with farsightedness. They end up wearing them a lot because just to do things, anything, within your reach of your arms, many people feel that they have to see more clearly, and then they get into greater and higher prescriptions. But they have an advantage. They can go to the drugstore and they could say, you know what? I'll try a little like less than what I've been wearing. And so they can help with their eyes that way. But I really do recommend people work with either take courses from a vision educator or work with one because it's like you need a coach. There's
a
not,
Bates method educator, right? Because there's just so many
yes,
people who say they do eye exercises,
yes,
but
yes,
what is it exactly? Right. The Bates method is a proven method. It's been around for 100 years.
that's right.
And is your story, did you actually get off glasses with the Bates method?
It's been a really gradual process. Like I said, a lot of it was I near the teacher? What kind of support? Basically, I hardly ever talked about it to people. They just
Oh,
would see me with glasses sometimes and without them. But one of the reasons why I stuck with it was that I knew that people who have progressive myopia over time can develop eye diseases, whether it be, because that's persistent strain is there. So probably my first step was just I took off my glasses more. I didn't wear them all the time. And then I could see, I could see more than I thought I could see. And then when I could work with a vision coach, I did. And that always helped me go to another plateau. And so,
oh,
like, I'm going to be doing a class of practices in September so that people have an opportunity to practice and develop their own practice. And because that's when main thing is how do you stay consistent with it?
right. More
And
like
so,
a coach to keep someone like they
that's right.
have goals and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, very nice. So you had glasses and now you don't wear glasses like you
I
had
only
in.
wear them when I'm driving, if it's raining, At nighttime, then I'll wear a weaker pair of glasses for that. So
I
that's where
see.
I'm at in my process. And I still have room to grow and continue to grow. I mean, that's my goal. That's just to keep that process of improving the eyes. It has an
Right.
amazing impact on, like I said, on memory,
Oh,
just the vitality of life. You think about
really?
this, so much strain that's put on the visual system.
Really?
Your life force is being contained in a way that is not optimum for your well-being. And so
Wow.
it's it has so many ripple effects. And some
Fascinating.
people, yeah, some people get into it just because they want to be able to not wear their glasses all the time. Some want to be able to pass the driving test so there isn't the requirement. It just depends. But, there's ways to do it. People need to, it's about trusting yourself. A lot of it is about that.
What I hear
Feeling,
from people who have, let's say, very hard prescriptions like -9, and they say, is
mm,
that possible for them to climb down?
yes. Yes, and sometimes those very high prescriptions are because they've been going, they've been getting stronger and stronger glasses. They're very, um, shall we say, they routinely go and get their eyes checked. And maybe I recommend to people when you go to when you schedule to go to the optometrist, like for kids, go in the summer. The kids are going to be outside playing more. Their eyes will be more relaxed when they go. Uh, the same with an adult. Go wintertime. I would recommend going in winter because, especially in many places of probably your listeners, it's cloudy, it's dark, you're more contained. Um, go to put yourself in optimum conditions when you go to the optometrist, including how you're feeling and all that.
But you
And
wouldn't recommend putting glasses on a kid, right? That's considered like a really bad thing to do. I mean, you want the
I
child to
would
be able to
find
see,
other
but
ways. Yeah, no,
yeah.
and I did. My daughter was 8. There was a behavioral optometrist near where we lived, and I took her there to see, just to have her eyes checked. There was no need for it, just because I had that habit. And he recommended a few practices for her, and he did prescribe glasses. And we got home because of my Bates exposure. By that time, I said to her, don't do the practices. Forget about the glasses. And she put them on. She goes, yeah, I don't like them. I want to play. And that was, so she did, she remembers, we talked about it. She's now 43. And she had, the last time she had her eyes checked, because she has every 2 years with her work, she has to have a physical. She was 2015 and 2013.
Wow. And she does these
And
exercises, huh?
well, she did it at that age, but she's also cultivated a lifestyle. She's never worn
Right.
glasses then. And it's so
Wow.
worth it if
Wow.
if that's the option for the child, then find a person who does the vision work so that and be prepared. The family is really a part of it. It isn't just something that the child can do. They can, but and they teach each other. They'll teach their siblings, their friends, which is really cool because they feel how good it is. But yeah, as far as children go, there's a lot of pressure though. When kids are in school, I know I homeschooled my daughter, and you have so much more flexibility when you're
Right.
homeschooling. You can work on practices. They don't have to have glasses on. There isn't the pressure from the school nurse, all those things. But when that's there, then I would really say then it's a family process of how to work through that so your child isn't made to wear them all the time. And you find
Yeah.
ways that, that people have workarounds.
People who believe in these exercises feel like a lot of the people who are doing the work on people think it's like the worst thing to put glasses on kids because that's where it all starts. And then the eyes just get progressively worse. Like it destroys peripheral vision. And instead of
That's
giving
right.
the kids eye exercises, do just putting the glasses, like giving someone crutches who has trouble walking, like, physical therapy would be better than crutches. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting. And just for anyone who is not sure that the exercises work, from people who you've worked with, like have you seen real results that people had glasses and then just didn't need them afterwards? Like
Oh,
I've
yeah. But it takes time. Like I said, it takes time because you're changing visual, mental, and emotional habits. And so it's very individual who is, some people will see change faster than others, but this is not a race. It's a
Very
lifestyle.
interesting. Very interesting. So it's basically the three major concepts with the Bates method is sunning and facing your face to the sun when it's not like too hot to get like really badly sunburnt in the
Right, right.
earlier part of the day, later part of the day, closing your eyes like this, going from side to side so the sun's rays penetrate through the eyelid and go through all sides of the eye, parts of the eye. The sun's rays are healing and the light triggers parts of the eye that the eye really needs to function. So that's one, the
That's
sunning. The palming is when you cover your eyes like this and you do it for extended periods of time. So you could do it before you fall asleep or at a different
mhm,
time. Like you're saying, you're waiting for something anyway. It's just a very relaxing. You're relaxing the eyes while you're awake. You're not just going to sleep.
that's right.
And the third is the swing, where you're looking at something specific, but you're in motion. So you're
Mhm.
saying even when someone's in a car, they could do technically it's like a swing, is it? If they're
Yes,
not moving, but the car is moving,
the car is moving. That's right. And
but
then you
your
allow
thing
your
you're looking
curiosity.
for
Yeah, so
disappears.
notice. Yeah,
The,
first start to notice that it's moving. Yeah,
and it's
that,
accepted so you don't feel dizzy. Accept that
that's
feeling that
right.
things are moving. Or
That's
if you're
right.
taking like a finger, this would be a very short kind of swing to move
Yeah,
it, move your head, move your whole body. But if you're doing your hand, you have a longer range of motion. You swing your hand in one direction, swing your hand in the other hand in the other direction, and you follow your hand, right, as
that's
you're
right.
moving.
Right.
So these are the
Yeah,
three things. And it's important to incorporate this stuff as maintenance, even if someone is not looking to heal their vision. And this also helps people with eye diseases. It's not just vision issues, right?
that's right. Because there's a lot of strain and stress, worry, concern when someone does have an eye disease. And
What kind of eye
just learning
diseases
how you
benefit?
relax your eyes. Pardon?
What kind of eye diseases benefit from Bates method exercises?
Well, early cataracts do. Um, let's see, macular degeneration. I know, and oh, my mind's all of a sudden going blank. Just about any eye disease.
Really?
Oh, yes.
The same three
Yes. Now,
exercises.
one thing, people who have light sensitivity have to ease into sunning, and there are ways to
Right.
do that as well.
Right. The
Um,
first thing would be to stop wearing sunglasses ever, unless you're driving and it's like blinding sun.
yeah, and wear hats with brims then,
Right.
so
Yeah, that's
that
what I do.
yeah,
I
and
wear a big hat if it's very sunny.
I live at 7,300 feet. I've lived here for 10 years, and I just wear hats with now only during maybe when we're shoveling snow and the sun comes out, and then I'll either go, I think I'll just go in right now. I've done enough shoveling, or very seldom will I put the sunglasses on. Though I do know some people who will wear the goggles if they're snowboarding and then they take them off because
I see.
they judge it by how bright is the sun and so forth. So
Right.
it is individual. Once you learn the practices, then you customize it for where you are. But the whole thing of light sensitivity, of those three, that's probably the one thing that people will say, "Oh, I can't do that because I have light sensitivity." You can actually overcome light sensitivity by doing the sunning, but the first exposure to the sunlight is not directly looking at the sun. It would be,
Fascinating.
yeah, it's so there's
It's
ways to, it's really respecting that if any other part of the body can change and improve, why do we think the eyes can't? Of course they
right.
can. And
Right.
people will report my vision's gotten better, but they don't necessarily get the support from, from the health professionals because
Right.
it's
There's no
not,
money in
but
healing the vision. You would stop selling glasses
that's
to
part of it, but I think it's also a
it's,
mindset they are taught
yeah, it's
to
the lack of
see.
information. And also the
Right.
information is not taught because it's not a money-making concept to heal people's
Right,
vision. You put people
right,
on glasses. It's I mean, the people putting people in glasses are just painfully ignorant on this usually, but
right,
these concepts are not taught because it's just healing is just not profitable. It's creating customers to the optometry industry, which is so profitable that makes lifelong customers
yeah,
and just gets
right,
worse.
right.
June, thank you so
And
much for coming and educating us about this.
you're
It's
so
like
welcome.
there's
Yeah,
hardly a topic that's more important.
exactly. Because, and we didn't even get into what do you do about devices and things like that. But yeah, there's ways to actually integrate and incorporate this if a person's job requires working on the computer. Uh, there's just all kinds of places that we can take. How do we improve our vision lovingly, with care and respect to our eyes, because
For
they
sure.
certainly serve us so well.
Yes, and if anybody wants to reach out to June, her information is going to be below, and you can reach out to her. She's an excellent vision therapist with the Bates method. She's been doing this on herself for decades, and then recently became certified as a Bates instructor. And we highly recommend her.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
so
you,
much,
June.
Annette. Appreciate it now to be able to share this with everyone.